Shalom. First and foremost, all praise and glories unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, or Kakodash. Double honor to our apostles, the bishops, the elders of the great millstone, and greetings, salutations, blessings, much love unto you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, and the Israelite foreigners that may be scattered amongst the heathen, may even look like the heathen. Shalom unto you of the hopeful elect. Your brother Shaquat with a video. I just want to go into this topic of spies, okay? Because in the Tares in the Wheat video I just did, it kind of sparked a situation that we don't know until the end who will be who. But this is a dynamic, if you will, that we're set up to go through. Okay, this is we're set up to go through this dynamic. All right, and it's on purpose to build us up, our faith up, build our spirit up. You know, because when something that the elder Ariella said in his video about it, about being so buddy and nice with everybody. He said, man, you can't be hasty to give credit to everybody. Okay, these men and women have to be vetted. And how do you vet them? You vet them through the Spirit. Okay, and so we won't know fully if they're vetted, because you can fake this thing even inside the standard, the high standard of Great Millstone. You can go through it, but at the end it may not be for you. Okay, and the key to this video particularly is we don't know who's who, because man's going is of the Lord. I'm gonna grab that. Okay, so we won't actually know who's who until the very end, and we see who actually endures all the way through and through. All right, who's actually chosen and of the elect. All right, and that's the climate and the dynamic that'll be going on in the earth, and particularly for those that believe in this ministry. All right, because also another dynamic is the great harvest is still coming. Okay, of all the influx of the Israelites will be coming in, and even when Yahweh Shai was on the scene, it was a similar situation. He had to do a sift. Okay, and so when did he sift them? He's like, man, y'all coming just to eat the fish and chill out. And then some of them, he was like, man, you got to be born again, or unless you eat of my flesh, you can't be of me. You started hearing all these things and drink my blood. They hear these things, they're like, oh no, and they bounced out because they didn't understand the spirit what he was talking about. Okay, so all of these situations are written for our learning, and we're gonna have to use these things in the coming future. Okay, in the near future, we're gonna have to be able to use all these things that are written aforetime. Okay. And so let me start off with this scripture here. All right, so Galatians 2. Try to keep this as concise as possible. I got a few precepts, so I want to try to hit them all. And Lord willing, this is edifying. Okay, so Galatians 2:4 says, and that because of false brethren unawares brought in, who came in privately to spy out our liberty, which we have in Yahushua Mashiach, that they might bring us into bondage. Okay, and this is how this situation is going to play out. This is the climate. This is the situation we're coming into. Okay, they're not just sifting out the violent criminals of the migrants and the immigrants or whatever. They're eventually going to sift out the undesirables and the people they don't want. Okay, and they're going to use technology and the internet and so on, and the words and defaming the prophets and so on and so forth. For all that's got to happen. Okay, but let me get this in another translation. I'm gonna read the NLT, and it's the blue letter right here. Start at verse 2 because I like the context. The NLT kind of makes it easy to understand. Okay, it says, I went there because the Most High revealed to me that I should go. While I was there, I met privately with those considered to be leaders of the church and shared with them the message I had been preaching to the Gentiles, basically to the Israelite foreigners. And see, it shows that they went back to Jerusalem 14 years later, okay, to share that message. But they saw privately, they didn't make a big deal. They didn't go out there between all the believers. They went to the heads, Okay, the leadership of the church, right? It says I wanted to make sure that we were in agreement for fear that all my efforts of all them years they had been out teaching the Israelite foreigners had my efforts had been wasted, and I was running the race for nothing, to make sure that wasn't happening. And they supported me and did not even demand my companion Titus to be circumcised, for he was an Israelite foreigner. And I'm using that word because they got Greek and they got Gentile and all that, but these are Israelites. But he didn't have, and the custom of the heathen was not to be circumcised. The custom of the Israelites was to be circumcised, but he was circumcised in his heart, okay, in his spirit, right? Now, here's verse 4. It says, even that question came up only because of some so-called Christians there, false ones, really, who were secretly brought in. They sneaked in to spy on us and take away the freedom we have in Yahushua Mashiach. Okay, they wanted to enslave us and force us to follow their Jewish regulations. Now, I just seen this other translation. Let me get it. Actually, it's a few of them. Okay, Galatians 2 and 4. I don't even know the translation. It says I put NLT, but these are just the ones that popped up from Gateway Bible. I'm just going to read them. Galatians 2 and 4. False Christians were brought in. They slipped in as spies to learn about the freedom Hamashiach Yahushua gives us. They hope to find a way to control us. Okay? It says, there's another one, BibleHub.com. It says, this issue arose because of false brothers smuggled in who came in secretly to spy on the freedom that we have in Yahushua Mashiach in order to enslave us. Okay? Another one or two. It says, but it was because of false brethren secretly brought in who had sneaked in to spy out our liberty, which we have in Yahushua Mashiach, in order to bring us, probably going to say, into bondage. Yes, that's NLT right there. To make us slaves. See, they got the different breakdowns in this. Okay, which was similar to what was. I could have probably just did this in the in the blue letter. Okay, but we see that this is what is breaking it down for us to bring us into bondage. The ASV. Okay, bring us into bondage. Okay, spy out our liberty to bring us into bondage. They hope to find a way to control us. The GW translation. Holman says, smuggled in secretly to spy on freedoms. Yeah, so, okay, so now we get that. Okay, now we're in Jude 1 and 4. It says, for there are certain men crept in unawares who were before of old ordained to this condemnation, ungodly men, turning the grace of our Lord Yahushua into lasciviousness and denying the only Lord Yahweh and our Lord Yahushua Mashiach. Jude 1 in the NLT says, this I say because some ungodly people have wormed their way into your churches, saying that the Most High's marvelous grace allows us to live immoral lives. Right? And that's why they try to come in and throw that. Some of them come in and try to say, hey man, we could be getting money off this hustle. We got, I know, we struggling, but we forget these heathen. We can find a way to work, to do these credit cards or do this internet thing or whatever. Okay, and these are red flags that we should be able to pick out if they ever come with that type of, somebody's around with that type of thing. That type of, trying to bring that into this. This is what we're being built up as leadership for. Because when, like I said, the great harvest comes in, it's going to be all kinds of people, and they're not going to have stable foundations. Part of it's going to have to be us to discern who and who not. and to build those up that are around us that are sincere, to be able to see the difference and show them the way. Okay, but we can't be half-assed either. We got to be like, we got to cut you off, man, if you ain't right. We warn you once or twice, bring you before a small council once or twice. Once you don't get it, man, you can't be in the group no more. Okay, and the conditions aren't gonna be like like it is now. Like you got the camp set up, and it ain't gonna be like that. We're gonna be hanging out at somebody's house or somewhere else, and then certain people gonna be doing certain things, and that don't line up with the scripture, and we're gonna have to call you out, and be like, look, we're not about that. If you want to do those things, you go do those things over there, but you can't be doing that, putting a stain on the ministry over here. Okay, so everything we're practicing and doing now in these churches and camp scenarios, we're going to have to do on a greater scale without the same support. Each of us that are in certain roles now will have to be integral parts of leadership, and later on, many churches or other churches, many, they're going to be larger, but the fruit won't be as sincere as it is now. Okay, some people are just going to come in because they're scared, but they don't have the spirit, or they don't have the breath, or they'll have the sinews and the flesh, but they won't have the breath. Okay, we have to keep these things in mind. Let's see what else we got in here. For NIV, for certain individuals whose condemnation was written about long ago. We don't know that. We don't know who's who. Okay? We just have to be the best we can through the Spirit and discern the best we can. Has secretly slipped in among you. They are ungodly people who pervert the grace of our God into the license for immorality, and deny Yahweh Shai Mashiach, our only sovereign and Lord. Okay, and KJV crept in unnoticed. That's why the vetting process is serious, and it's gonna, like, right now the vetting process is one way, but it's gonna become a more serious situation, because the vetting process will get even tougher as the time gets closer. As more people come in, it's going to be harder and harder to vet each individual. Okay? You might be like, you got the Cornelius breakdown, you got the Israelite foreigner breakdown, you got the names, you know what the charagma is, you can ask a few things, but after that, it's like, now us that have been practicing these things and seeing how certain men have acted over the few years we've been in this thing, we have to be able to look at individuals and see see how they conduct themselves. That's why these points that the elder brothers and different apostles and different video bishops and whatnot in their videos have been making are so on point. Okay, we can't be hasty to give credit to everybody condemning the whole household, man. Hey, man, show me where y'all hiding. Hey, there was a scene in The Walking Dead. I think it was season 2, where for you brothers that followed that series when it was out, or still go back and check into it. But I remember, I think it was, I forgot who was there. I think it was Rick and I'm forgetting the Asian guy's name. Him and I don't know if Shane was there, but it was somebody else. But they all went to this bar to go get a pistol they knew was in this bar, and try to see what else they can get. And they got there, they ran into some other people that were not zombies or walkers or whatever. And they kept saying, the guy kept being like, hey, you show us where you hiding up. Come take us back to where y'all at. And Rick was trying to get rid of him, because he knew he didn't have the right type of spirit. He didn't know he wasn't right. He knew that he would compromise everything that they had. Okay, that situation will come back around. Okay, that situation is going to come back around to where we're going to have to be able to discern that moment and understand we can't let those guys get the best of us. We can't let them overrun the camp. and overrun the minds of the people, because scriptures gave us word about this. Who here cometh the wicked one, okay, so on and sown away what was, and took away what was sown in his heart. All this stuff is for our learning. All right, Glenn is the Asian guy's name. I forgot who else was there. Okay, so this is it here. I just want to follow up on it, and it's an important scene um, to watch. By what I just explained, it gives you a real sense of what's happening in that scene, okay, and what the dynamic will be like in the days that we're talking about, okay. And as one of the leaders, like Rick was, he had to understand that this guy can't make it back to. We can't let this guy come back to the farm or wherever they were at in this one, right? There's two guys walking to a bar, Nebraska. Okay, The Walking Dead season 2, episode 8. Get a chance to check it out. This is it right here. Okay, so now we're in Sirach 27, and what I've noticed happens, or something that's a very good way to find out what a person's doctrine is to get them to teach. The willingness to teach, um, their willingness to show their understanding of the scriptures, okay, or their lack thereof. Because when you do have this understanding, and you give men the ability to step up and teach, and then you also give them the opportunity to make the corrections. No, this is the MOTB. See, you go into charagma, then charax, then graphos in the Greek, okay? And this is what we see happening. This is that same technology we're seeing in the world today that are in these smart phones, that are in these NFC near field connections, that are in these smart cards and stuff that you can tap, and all of these different situations. Okay, you use all of that, and if they still don't see it, hey, you got to move along. Okay, and got to drop the hammer when the hammer got to be dropped, man. That's the hard part, but that's the part that's also necessary. All right, this is Sirach 27, verse 5. It said, "The furnace proveth the potter's vessel." Something before I want it. Yeah. Let me start verse 4. As when one sifteth with the sieve, the refuse remaineth. So the filth of a man is in his talk. So yeah, you'll be able to filter a man out with his speech. Okay? The furnace proveth the potter's vessel, so the trial of man is in his reasoning. And when you get him to teach and break things down of wisdom and of understanding, you'll get his reasoning, how he reasons with things. Okay, and then we filter that reasoning and that talk, and that understanding amongst the scriptures. Okay, and that's why we're guiding ourselves, and the apostles have been guiding us in such a way to come into familiarity with our conduct and the way we think and the way we talk and the way we act. Okay, to line it up with the ways of the scriptures. All right, it says, "The fruit declares that the tree have been dressed, so is the utterance, talk of a man, of a conceit in the heart of man." The utterance of conceit in the heart of man. But you got to be diligently watching, man, diligently paying attention. Okay, and this isn't a one-man job. Okay, you got to find those that are able to pick up those things, that aren't so hasty to give credit. Okay, but really looking to see who's locked in and catching those little red flags and clues, because usually it's there. Okay, verse 7 says, "Praise no man before thou hearest him speak, for this is the trial of men." Okay, the trial of men is to be able to watch, man, to find out what you really about. Okay, and getting into a conversation with a man, having a drink with a man, letting him get his guard down will show you all those things. Okay. Now, I had this other version of the same picture, but this one says, warning, all suspicious persons and activities are immediately reported to our police department. And this is how it has to be when these unsavory characters reveal themselves. Okay? Hey, bro, what's up with that? Why'd you say that? What was that all about? You got to really check and address these things before they get accustomed to the lingo and to how things are already moving. Now, man, you should already be on board with this. Why would you do that? Hey, explain. Matter of fact, us three, let's take him outside, man, and figure him out. Okay, before he say something crazy in here and spread some evil in here, man. Spread the wrong spirit in here. Okay. It says neighborhood watch. We look out for each other. Okay, that's what this ministry is about. And when I seen this picture, I was like, damn, that's a pretty good spiritual sign, I forgot I had it in my phone from years ago, but hey, this is how it's supposed to be. All right. And even what makes this dynamic even harder and why it takes more men to pay attention and be locked in on it is because sometimes people will believe they're sincere and they will be sincere. Okay. But they just not in the right spirit. And if you correct them and they still just can't get right, hey, you got to let them go. Can't be happy, oh man, but nah, man. Because what ends up happening, and this is a tough decision for the leadership roles that are in the camps now, that we're learning now. And then when it comes down to them other churches that will be formed, them churches will be formed. The numbers that the elect have to be delivered, thus saith the scriptures, the 1/3, the 144,000, it's a large number. So for that multitude to come in, there's going to be a lot. Because right now, how many people believe? Just right now. Okay, you could take all the One West Hebrew Israelites, and it still won't be 144,000. Okay, let alone 1/3. So these churches and camps are going to get huge, but they're going to get huge in a very dire situation, a climate in the earth that's going to be a very dangerous and tough and confusing, situation to be living in. Okay, and we have to be able to discern spirits and be able to make good judgments, okay, and good character. And we have to be able to read good character, quickly. All right. And some of these people are just moving around and they're not gonna know. And even now, some of the spies that are lingering now in the camps, hey, they're brothers right now. And they're good brothers right now. Okay, but when the shit hits the fan and the spirit hops off of them, or the spirit of Satan hops onto them, or the devil or whoever else, hey, things will change. And we have to be aware of that change when it happens. Okay, this is Proverbs 20 and 24. Man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? It made me think of Judas Iscariot. He was one of the 12. He was a brother through and through and never knew that, until the moment came, I don't even think this is me speaking as a man, that he understood the role he was going to play when he came into the camp, Yahushai's camp, among the disciples. He probably had no clue that he would be the betrayer. Okay? But that was his role. And a lot of people right now, they think their role may be of the elect or man of the Lord or whatever the case may be, or woman of the Lord even, but at the end of the day may become a betrayer. We know that that's written in the scriptures. Families are going to betray you. Father against mother, and father-in-law against the son, and mother-in-law against daughter-in-law, and all these other things. Okay, we know, friends will betray one another, and the spirit will wax cold, and all these other situations will be the dynamic of the earth, which will make this situation even tougher to deal with. But we are armed with the Spirit. We're armed with all the tools that we should need to be successful at this thing. Okay. Okay, so Romans 9 real quick, and we know what this is talking about Jacob and Esau, but you have to also see it in the spiritual sense. Okay, the Most High has everybody laid out to what they're supposed to, the path they're supposed to be walking upon, and He wants that dynamic of uncertain people to creep in and to make the dynamic that much harder for us to have to discern. Okay, to purge out some certain people, as well as to build the faith of others. Okay, this is all for the multitasking of what the Lord is accomplishing within us. All right, Romans 9 and 11. For the children not yet being born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of the Most High according to election might stand. There's some that are not of the elect that are going to make some harsh judgments or try to take over camps or whatever the case may be. And we have to be on point. And not just we, but us of the, Lord, what I'm of the elect as well, have to be on point. Okay? We all of the elect have to, of the hopeful elect, Lord willing, right, have to be on point with this thing. Okay? And like I said, we know that this is talking about Jacob and Esau and Rebekah and all of that. Okay? But we can apply this in that way as well. Okay? The 2/3 versus the 1/3. The dynamic of the Bible, the Old Testament was nations. The New Testament now goes where the ministry got smaller, not just of the nation, but now it's getting down to believers and non-believers of the nation, okay, of our people. All right, and that's the sense we have to keep in this. Some of the people that will betray us the hardest and the fastest be our own people. Hey, we see who runs to Vocab Malone. It be Jake that be, known to be an Israelite. And I've been in this for 20 years, but then something goes wrong, and now you running over there to Vocab Alone to just tell him everything you know. Okay, so we see what the play is. We see how this is gonna go down, and as the squeeze happens harder and harder to squeeze us out from the places where we're hiding. Because how do you find out who believes and who don't? Well, online ain't gonna do it alone. Okay, when the family of the word come, you ain't gonna be able to just go out and get us off the street in the camps. You got to find another way to get us. Okay, well, if I squeeze everybody, they'll give them up, and it's true. It's worked in history before. All right. He says, for the children not yet being born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of the Most High according to election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth. The Most High is in control of who he wants and who he don't. And when you make your mistakes, that's still on you. You were set up for this, and you're obeying his will. He's the potter. He can choose what he wants. Okay? We're just subject to whatever he's got going on. You just got to pray that, hey, Lord willing, I'm of the elect. Lord willing, I make all the right moves. I don't want to be a betrayer of the elect or of the men of the Lord. I don't want to be that type of person out here, and I'm going to do my best to fulfill that. But if you just willy-nilly not praying, not, thinking about it and meditating and focusing on the bigger plan and the mission and the goal here, hey, you can easily be overtaken. Okay? Judas Iscariot, he lost sight of the big picture. All right? Let me get a little more. I think there's one. Yeah, verse 16, it says, so then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of the Most High that showeth mercy. So the Most High gets to say. So it might be a guy that may not, be strong in the scriptures, that ends up battling all the way through to be of the elect and be somebody that's been in doing it for years, that may fall out and at the last minute and take the MOTB and rat everybody out. Okay? All for the purpose of Yahweh Shem Yahshua. And I like to take it a step further with the thought of it. Yeah, there may be a situation where the Most High has somebody rat out, where the men of the Lord are hiding at, all for the purpose of an angel and a couple of brothers to come through and rescue him. Okay, we don't know how this is going to play out, but the scriptures give us a very good view. But you got to be able to see the reality of how this is going to play out. You got to be able to see the reality in the climate, in the way, the environment that's set up in the earth. We already see how Trump is squeezing and shaking up things. He's agitating the situation with the northern kingdom, okay, which is gonna then in turn agitate the southern kingdom, which is then in turn gonna agitate the heathen, which is then in turn gonna really push the wicked Edomites out there into further and further more hatred for you tribes, okay, which is creating a very serious dynamic in the earth, man. A climate. I keep bringing up this climate in the earth, and I'm not talking about the weather. Okay, I'm talking about how the energy is going to be on the earth. Okay, some people are going to look at you and see the beard on your face and be like, hey, something about him ain't right. Okay, what's that book he's reading? Okay, and so on and so forth. All right. Real quick, Job 33:11, right? He putteth my feet in the stocks, he marketh all my paths. And when you read this, you got to understand what's happening. Okay, the Most High has everybody's feet, with their movements and what they do. He has them all laid out, whether they be good or evil. Okay, whatever dynamic you got going on, man, he's involved in your purpose. He is okayed your purpose to be this way. Okay, when it says he marketh my feet, my paths, excuse me. All right, meaning he's guarding and he's making sure he's watching out for the elect's steps. Okay, he's making sure those don't step off the path. Well, the same with the wicked. He's allowed Satan and the devil to take you off the path. Okay, that you're gonna have that misstep at some point, regardless. All right, when the moment is right is when he's gonna allow that to happen. All right. No different than what happened with Judas. Okay. Yeah. Let me see. I'm gonna start up. I'm gonna just go to the point. We can see what verse 1 says, and this is in St. John the 13th chapter. But verse 2 it says, "And supper being ended, the devil having now put into the heart of Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, to betray him." Okay, the devil put that in there to betray him. He had been dope, and down the whole time. Okay, so it seemed. And as in the previous video I had done about the tares and the wheat, okay, you got to let that play out. You never know. You got to let it play out. Some things just got to be played out, man, for the dynamic that the Lord wants to see how you respond to it anyway. Okay, things, it said in the end is manifest. Things have to manifest till its full ripeness and fullness before the purpose of it can be revealed. Okay, this man was handpicked. All right, John 13:24 now it says, Simon Peter therefore beckoned to him that he should ask who it should be of whom he spake. And then lying on Yahushua's breast saith unto him, Lord, who is it? And Yahushua answered, he it is to whom I shall give a sop when I have dipped it. And when he had dipped the sop, he gave it to Judas Iscariot, the son of Simon. And after the sop, Satan entered into him. Then did Yahushua, said Yahushua to him, that thou dost do quickly. Okay? Now no man at the table knew for what intent he spake this unto him, for some of them thought because Judas had the bag, look, that Yahushua had said unto him, buy those things that we have need of against the feast, or that he should give something to the poor. He then, having received the sop, went immediately out, and it was night. Okay? And so this is how the dynamic can play out, man. These dynamics are going to play out. They're not written for nothing. They're written for our learning. Things are written aforetime, written for our learning. So we have to learn this dynamic. And we're in the time of this being a reality. Okay? It's not the possibility of it being a reality. It's a reality. And this is the time of it being proven to be a reality. Okay, so we're getting a pre-warning to be ready for this. Okay? So it gave you a nice little dynamic the way it played this out, man. These are dynamics, and I'm using that word a lot, but this is where you have to envision the reality of this and then seeing it being real, so when it comes upon you, you can see how this can conflict certain people, it can uproot certain people, okay, and it can build the faith of others, okay? And more importantly, if you happen to be in a leadership role and will become into a leadership role, as those larger numbers come in, that great harvest comes in, you have to be able to make that decision. Those of you that know and have the breadth and understanding now, be able to make that decision quick and early before it becomes something more serious, like Yahushua did. He told them, yeah, whoever I dip this bread, and give it to, is this the one that's going to betray. He said that, but then he did it right after. And no man at the table knew what he was doing it. They didn't understand the big picture. Okay? But it was quick. So, man, go do what you got to do, man. You got to do something, go do that right now. He knew what he was talking about. Okay? Hypothesizing about it, Peter probably wouldn't have let him out the building. Right? If he'd have understood. Well, we have to be in understanding and in discernment when these moments come about. We know, certain questionable characters, even in the, I love movies. So in the movie, what's that movie? Reservoir Dogs. When he finally got to the big boss, he was like, how do you know who it was? I knew it was him because he was the only one I couldn't quite vouch for 100%. I hadn't vetted all the way through and through. Okay? And like I'm saying, some of these spies that are creeping in, man, they're gonna know breakdowns. They're gonna damn near believe. Okay? And the brother said in his dream about it, yeah, they be believing. They're gonna believe and be converted, but then feel bad when they still follow through on what they came into this thing to do. Okay? Psalm 55, start at verse 12. Because it's going to hurt, man. It's going to hurt to know, oh, bro, this is the one that's doing it. Well, you have to be settled that nothing can separate us from the love of Yahushua. No one or nothing, right? Psalm 55 and 12. For it was not an enemy that reproached me. Then could I have borne it. Neither was it he that hated me that did magnify himself against me. Then I would have hid myself from him. But it was thou, a man mine equal, my guide and mine acquaintance. We took sweet counsel together. We walked unto the house of the Most High in company. We came into this thing together. And you the betrayer? Hey, this is unwritten just because this might not happen or it could possibly. It's going to happen. And we have to have our minds ready for it when it happens. And make all the proper decisions and not get emotional in that. We have to just continue to use wisdom in that moment. And to still continue to have faith that the Most High is gonna see it through and through. Let's do our part, and the Most High see it through and through. All right. Psalm 41 and 9. Yea, mine own familiar friend, in whom I trusted, which did eat of my bread, have lifted up his heel against me. Okay, and these are like prophecies about Judas Iscariot, but at the same time, This lets you know how close it can be, man. I ate chicken with this dude, man. We went out and had a beer together. We read the scriptures together. We broke down and we did all these things together. And it is him that's betraying me at the end. Okay? One of my brothers, one of my closest friends. And this is how it will be. You have to be all right with that dynamic when it comes down. All right? And still stand on integrity with Yahweh Shemi Al-Shai. And I'll close with, I think I got one or two more. 2 Ezra 16. Okay. I start up at 68. I always like starting up higher. It says, for behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you. And sometimes that multitude and that flood and everybody that's set up against us, they also have a plant, on the inside, a spy on the inside. Okay? And they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. Okay? Meaning when they finally catch us and capture us, they're going to try to turn us away from the faith. It says, and they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden underfoot. The Most High said you're going to get punished if you falter. Okay, away from this belief. It says, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. We know that this is coming against us. Okay, they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. This is coming. And it will be an inside job, man. It's going to start on the inside. Okay? It's going to give us away. For they shall waste and take away our goods and cast them out of their houses. Some of them will give us up, our locations where we live, and get us cast out. Okay? And put into prison for 10 days and tried. All right? Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. Okay? And this is the point. That part's coming, man. Will be known. Okay, you ain't right, so you ain't of the elect because you ratted everybody out. You made them false moves, putting the blame on the ministry, being in the wrong spirit, saying the wrong things, giving them reason to call us the heinous things they're going to call us, okay? It says, "Hear, O my beloved, saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same." Stick with it, man. Stay faithful. Stay down. The Most High is going to deliver us, even though it'll be a time of trouble we've never seen since there was a nation on the earth. And at that time shall Michael stand up, and at that time shall the people be delivered, man. Okay, we have to know that, be stable with that, and ride that out to the end, man. Okay, and it's going to take fasting and prayer and belief and discernment and wisdom and counsel and worship and all these things, man. Okay. So Lord willing, this was edifying. I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bashim Yashai Bashim Rakhakwadash, the belong to our apostles, the bishops, the elders of the great millstone, and greetings, salutations, blessings, much love unto you, hopefully elect. Stay strong, keep fighting, man, and keep your eyes open in discernment. Shalom.